Morning, welcome back. On the old Foot Falcon this morning, just walking up the paddock to bring the old tractor home that's been up on the pump on the dam. Bit of a recap last few days, and a couple other things I forgot to mention. So those lambs that we sold a couple of videos back, I'll be 10 days ago now, probably might be a bit longer. I think we loaded them Boxing Day and the next day after Christmas. So they've come out and averaged about $185, which is really, really good. It's sort of dressed out at, I think they averaged, the first lot was about 28.4, I think, and then they couldn't, as I mentioned, they couldn't get them all in on the one day. So the second lot, they averaged 28.9. So yeah, I think we had 6 that were over 30, dressed out over 30 kgs. So they were over the 200 and nearly 300 we sent. They were really, really consistent, which was really good. And yeah, I was a bit worried they might have been too heavy, because they actually, over 30 kgs, they actually dock you. I think they take 30 cents a kilo or something off you, which is good of them. Anyway, so yeah, so no, good result there. But the sheep job in general is really taking a kick. Just listening to a report yesterday on the radio, like they're quoting through the sale yards, quoting up over $8 a kilo. So yeah, which is good. So it puts us in good stead to make a good dollar out of these trade lambs, which is with the rain we've had. Yeah, it would have been, we should have bought twice as many. Anyway, hindsight's for arseholes apparently. Anyway. So yeah, just on the feed situation. So dryland lucerne is going nuts with the summer rain. It's only really been till now where these couple of paddocks here that we sowed, and there's a third one too, have really started to come away. So yeah, it's really, really good. So I'm just here at the edge of the pivot. So we had the lambs on here, so just gonna probably just keep rotating them around, just so we sort of nipping the top off it. We don't need to do any more hay, but we will do some if if we have to, just to keep on top of it. This paddock here, we cut the eastern side of the pivot, and it's gone nuts again. The right hand side, the western side, we didn't actually do. We just sort of tried to graze it, but I might actually just see how it goes. We might just cut it to freshen it up, but as you can see, it's pretty green and pretty fresh there at the moment. But yeah, it's just having enough mouths to eat it off is going to be the trick. So the nitrogen uptake test for the rice, it came back. What are we up to? Friday today. We had it back the next day after we did it, whenever that was, Wednesday I think. So it's come back to say we need to put 200 kilos of urea on the rice. So it seems like a high number. If there's any rice growers on here, you might agree, you might not. And Miranda was a bit concerned it was a high number. Pete came and looked yesterday. He's a bit sneaky. He was here. He didn't tell me he was coming, so I would have got him on camera. But he just called in, which is fine. And look, he's sort of comfortable with the 200. So the plane's coming today. Yeah, so we've got the truck and the auger around at the strip now waiting for him. So I'm going to try and get a bit of footage here of him actually flying. I'll get Tony to go around and load him, and I think Sarah's going to take the kids around and watch them load and land and that. So I might just spoken to her, she'll get her to just take a bit of footage with a phone. So yeah, so you get both angles of it. But yeah, I might just set up on the top of the pivot dam and just watch him fly by. Yeah, which is, yeah, just soon works pretty cool. So bit of a concern coming. We've got there's rain coming Sunday, Monday. Now they are talking, and some forecasts are up to 80 mil for Sunday and another 20 for Monday. Yeah, so 100 mil, make it interesting. Anyway, I'm going to turn the water off on the rice tonight. We've still got 4 megs of water running in on it. It's reasonably full. We do need to going to try today. We do need to do a little bit of work on some banks, just to get them built up, just so we don't have an overflow like we did last time. So yeah, so look, we're going to go, I think I'll probably go with the 200 of urea on the rice, and I'm thinking the corn has had its 600, but I'm thinking while we've got the plane, maybe and with this rain coming, we give it another 100. We've got the urea just to see how it goes. It's looking fantastic. It's probably, we haven't got a lot of corn, but it's as good a crop of corn as we've had. It's just, it's massive here. It's crazy how tall it's got. So anyway, so the boys have just Brendan's been spot spraying a few burrs. He's away today and he's away next week, just having a bit of time off. Tony's here. Tony's been working on the header, so we've got all the rotor bars on the rotor, just waiting on a couple of bits for the axle, but he is starting to cut some concaves up and convert them, and we run what they call a round bar concave for rice and corn in the front two sections, so I'll show you that in time. We need to get the bar and all that sort of stuff. Went shopping yesterday, so just a bit of a watch this space. I'll tell you a bit more. I'll keep you in suspense. I'll tell you what we're shopping for. So yeah, so anyway, there's still plenty going on. Need to try and get a bit of spraying done. A couple of paddocks with some burrs and big areas, legacy of old dairy farms, so we'll get that. We might do that this morning once we get this tractor back. Yeah, so anyway, keep tagging along.
Going to take off again in a sec, Mole, so it's going to get really dusty. If you want to come and stand over here.
Start here, leave them. Righto, we've got the plane working here. So he's actually putting 150 kilos across everything. It's just a bit easier. He can just do it in straight runs then. Hasn't got to fly far to reload again. So yeah, although the recommendations come back at a couple 100 kilos, we've decided to come back to 150 purely. You can actually what they call, what we sort of, I don't know what the correct terminology is, but we sort of say you can blow rice up. So essentially it'll just grow. Look, if the season played out and it was hot and that sort of stuff, but rice doesn't like the cold. So if you get a cold, February or a cold snap, it causes sterility. So essentially the head will come out, and where the grain should be, those grains will have nothing in them. So excess nitrogen sort of amplifies that. So we've just decided to play it a bit caution. We have actually blown a bit here before. We had 3 bays when one of the other times when we grew it, we had a contracted, before we went to permanent water, we had a contractor come in with a truck and spread it, and he had a bit left over, and I just sort of said, look, back your rate right back and do it over a few, just spread it over 3 bays. And the yield went from about 12 tonne to the hectare back to 5 tonne to the hectare, so it was pretty disappointing. The crop looked pretty good all year, and then we had to have that happen at the end. So I'm a bit conscious, a little bit gun shy of going too hard with the nitrogen. I'd prefer to be on the, sacrifice potential little bit of yield, just for safety's sake. But yeah, look, the weather could do anything. They were talking a hot, dry summer, and at the moment it's the wettest, hottest, driest summer we've had so far. So all jokes aside, so anyway, while it keeps raining and the humidity's high, the rice is going to probably do pretty well, but it just got to be mindful, and that's why this time now, once we've reached PI, we try and keep the water as high as we can, so the water level actually insulates that head development in the stem or microspore. So the next fortnight is pretty critical. I'm going to shut the water off probably in the morning, just to allow things to settle down a little bit just before this next dump of rain. So and look, if we only get 20 mil out of it, we can just start the water again. But if we get another 70 or 80 like they are actually forecast, the water will be a bit high again. So bit of a juggling act, but yeah, Sarah's gone round taking the kids round to the neighbours where they're loading the plane just to give them a look, so she's going to get a bit of footage of the plane loading. So you've seen that before if you're been watching along for a while, back during the winter crop. We had a plane in doing some, so I just thought, while I can perch myself up here on the dam of the pivot bank and get some good footage of him buzzing past. Sort of see, I don't know what he'd be, 20 metres off the ground. He might be a bit more. Come round off this block and he'll do a loop round, and then he'll do the northern block and do the corn as well. To do before GPS, and I was only a kid, you used to have a seed bag, and you'd walk along, you'd have a person at each end, and basically step out however far it was, 20 metres or I don't know. And the plane and line basically use you as the GPS. It'd line you up from one end to the other, and then once it did a pass, you'd step out another 20 metres or whatever it was, and he'd do the next pass to pass. Whether you can see how tall, I'm up on a fair bank here, you can sort of see how tall the corn's got. I just hope we're not buggering this up doing what we're doing by putting the urea over the top, because the urea will sit in I hope we do get rain Sunday. The urea will sit inside the leaves and burn it a little bit if it sits there too long, so just hope with the humidity and that it won't be too bad. But he's doing, we'll see, I'll get him coming at us, so I don't want to try and, just sort of looking on the ground here, you can see the bit of urea that's from where he shut off, and then he'll do a headland run down each side. make sure if he's shutting it off a bit earlier or a bit later or something, he's getting it all. Alright, plane's all finished up. Well, you probably can't see it in the water, no doubt, but yeah. Hopefully we may have to do a fungicide later on, just to keep an eye on some barmy worm, which are a bit like a grub, and they just come in and just eat stuff. So, but it all looks pretty happy at the moment. So I brought a little vent down, got this little gizmo here, so it's sort of addressing the banks really, or an old school sort of way to do it. It will build a bank, but what I'm going to try and do is just try and build these banks up a little bit, just these outer ones. There's a few here. We should have got when the excavator cleaned these out, we should have got him to do a bit better, build the bank up a bit better, but anyway, it is what it is now. So the banks are seeping a little bit, so it is a bit wet in spots, and with the rain too. We actually had a hole over here that I found yesterday. Looks like I might have plugged it up. There was I don't know whether it was a yabby hole or what it was, but yeah, there was a bit of water running out of this top bay here, so I might try and run down here and clean this. There is a bit of a drain there, so clean that out, so the water can run down there and then back into the dam down the bottom a bit easier. Pretty warm and humid still. Well, humid, I don't mind the warmth, but the humidity's knocking everyone around a little bit. So anyway, we'll see whether we can make a mess here. So we've got a bank here that's seeping a little bit and just making a mess. So it's not a big drama, but my main concern is just building these banks up, so if we do get this 80 mil or whatever they're forecast, we don't have banks overflowing. Well, we might finish this one up. So yeah, we had a bit of a play around up there, and look, it'll just be a suck it and see job with how much rain we get. Yeah, look, if we get 80 mil, we get 80 mil. That's what they're sort of forecasting, but it's going to be thunderstorms again. It's still humidity's, yeah, you'd reckon we're north of up on the Queensland coast at the moment, because it's still pretty tropical. The faithful steed loaded up. We're actually running into the weekend tomorrow, so we're going to head off for a bit of fun. So yeah, it can't be all work and no fun. So yeah, gonna head off early and probably be back by lunchtime, but gonna head up in the hills for something different. Haven't been up there, so that'll be yeah, sort of play the ears back for a few hours. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and yeah, keep liking and asking questions, and yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Ta-da.